Welcome to Rice and Beans. What's good, everyone? Thanks for tuning in. This is the very first episode of our show. Sorry that we had to transfer the modality to YouTube from the WJHU station, but it's still going to be Rice and Beans nonetheless. So, let's get started. So today, we're interviewing a guest, a very special guest.
What is your name? Guest. Isadora.
Isadora. Alright, Isadora Salas from...
Atlanta, Georgia. Or Kennesaw, Georgia, I guess.
Kennesaw. Where is Kennesaw located?
It's like 35 minutes north of Atlanta, but no one really knows it, so typically just say Atlanta. Yeah.
So, where are your parents from then?
So, both my parents are from Brazil, along with the rest of my family, but I was born in the U.S.
Alright, so,
yeah.
Brazilian.
Yeah.
So... let's talk about how Brazilian culture permeated into your life.
Okay.
So first off, were there any notable differences from how you were raised versus your neighbors, your friends? For example, for Christmas, for example, me being Colombian, it's really traditional to get together with a huge family and stuff and just cook a lot of very specific dishes.
So one thing that's interesting, I'm not sure if it's a Brazilian thing or just a my family thing, just thinking about Christmas, is we used to always wait until midnight to be able to eat. So no one could eat anything on Christmas before the clock hit midnight. And so everyone was starving the whole time. And yeah, we would always have huge parties with a bunch of people, a bunch of family, a bunch of friends. Lots of fun. So I guess that's one thing that was kind of different. Obviously there's a lot more. It's just, I don't know, if you pick out specific things, I can probably think of something.
Okay, let's start with language then.
Okay, well, not obviously, but growing up, I spoke Portuguese at home, so I guess that's kind of different because most Americans don't speak Portuguese.
Let's talk about Brazilian clothes.
Brazilian clothes.
Yes. What makes Brazilian clothes different from other places?
So I was in Brazil this summer, and one thing I really noticed, I don't know if it's just the style right now or if it's I don't know, a common thing, but going to the malls and stuff, I noticed that they wear, the clothing that's sold there, there's a lot of, bright, colorful patterns versus, me personally, I don't really wear that many colors. I typically stick to, monochrome.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Let me think if there's anything else. Obviously, there's differences in clothing and style everywhere you go, but that was, one of the big noticeable things I noticed.
Mm-hmm. That's good enough.
Okay, glad it's enough for you.
Is it hot over there? Are these all sort of tank top kind of clothes, shorts?
Well, it's winter there right now. So the winter and summer are different than in the U.S. They're on opposites. So since here it's summer right now, it's winter over there. And a lot of people always assume that Brazil's always hot, but just like other countries, it's a large country, the climate ranges a lot. So I was in Rio for the summer, and it kind of stayed in the 70s the whole time, and that's the winter. But if you go to the south of Brazil, you'll get, under 20 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow.
It'll get really, really cold.
That's interesting. I fell into the group of thinking that it was always sunny in Brazil, on the beaches in Rio, surfing in the sun, all year round.
Yeah, there isn't really beach anywhere, everywhere in Brazil either. It's only gonna be on the coast.
It is a big country, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about the size of the U.S. without Alaska.
Oh, wow. That's a good comparison.
Yeah.
All right. So, speaking of big stuff.
Okay.
Let's talk about food, because food's pretty huge.
Well, food's pretty awesome.
So what is the definitive Brazilian food?
There's so many.
If someone went in a layover in Brazil, what would be, if they had only one meal that they could eat, what would they eat?
One meal?
Yes, one meal.
Oh, God.
To say, I ate the most Brazilian thing.
There's just so many good foods. There's so many foods that are Brazilian also, but, the staple kind of meal that you'll have any day, you'll find everywhere, is just rice, beans, farofa, which is, this toasted flour. And then just some form of meat. So it could be sausage or beef or chicken or fish. Just some kind of meat with the rice and beans.
Hey.
Fitting for the name of your show.
That's why the name of the show is Rice and Beans, because that permeates a lot of cultures. So that's pretty cool. What about So something that I know about Brazilian culture is there's a lot of delicious breads. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
About bread? Are you talking about pão de queijo?
Yes.
Okay, so pão de queijo is like this Brazilian cheese bread, and it's delicious. It's from the state where my dad's from, Minas Gerais. So I like to say that like my dad and my grandma make the best pão de queijo. Like, it's delicious, and I always miss it when I come to school. But yeah, I mean, there's other good breads too, but that's like one of the staple ones that most people from outside of Brazil recognize.
Yeah, definitely. The Brazilian cheese bread, as they say in America. Oh, man. So that's a huge icon of Brazil here. Similarly, there is a style of dance that we may or may not be familiar with.
Wait, which one? There's so many styles of dance in Brazil.
Well, let's go into them then.
Okay, I don't even know all of them. So one of the most popular amongst young people right now is like Brazilian funk.
Oh, at Rice and Beans, we love funk.
Yeah, well, it's not like groovy kind of funk. It's like get down. It's good. It's fun to dance to. It's fun on a night out.
Oh man, we're gonna have to put some of that on the weekly Spotify playlist. Check that out.
So that's like super popular around like young people in Brazil right now. And then there's this other kind of, another kind of dance that is really popular that a lot of people always want to learn when they go to Brazil is forró. It's kind of like the best thing I could probably compare it to is like a country style of music, but it isn't really country music, but it's a more just like traditional type of Brazilian dance and style of music.
How would you describe it?
That's probably the best way I could describe it
But the
without
dance.
showing like a video.
When I think of country dance,
it's a two-person dance.
Oh,
It's a two-person dance, and you like dance with someone. It can be fast, it can be slow. It just depends on the rhythm of the music.
all right. I guess we'll use our imagination
Yeah.
to pretend what it looks like. Oh man! So besides that giant Jesus statue, are there any other giant like icon places to visit if you were to go to Brazil?
Well, yeah, there's so many things.
Let's talk about it.
So, have you ever heard of Foz de Iguaçu?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay, so it's like one of the biggest waterfalls in the world.
Wow.
It's in the south of Brazil. It borders Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay. Definitely worth seeing. A lot of people who go to Brazil go to visit that.
Really?
Obviously, there's also
Waterfall.
just a bunch of beautiful beaches. Brazil is known as one of the places with the most beautiful beaches in the world.
That's a lot of bees.
You're right.
That's pretty sick.
Oh no, there's so many things. If you're in Rio, like Maracanã used to be the largest stadium in the world. It's not anymore, but it's still super famous.
Mm-hmm. Let's go into that a little bit. Brazilian football.
Or soccer.
Or soccer. Okay.
Yeah.
So so when you were in Brazil over the summer,
Yeah.
or just when you go, how does it make itself apparent to you, whether
Okay.
you want to or not?
So I was really lucky because I was there over the World Cup, right? And so, like, soccer just runs throughout the country. Like, I would say that the largest religion in Brazil is soccer. You just see people, I was living in Rio, like, right near the beach, so I would go to the beach and you just see people, like, juggling soccer balls on the beach. And I don't mean, like, 2 or 3 groups of people. I mean, like, most people on the beach, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. Also, there's this sport there called futevôlei, which is basically like volleyball but soccer.
Yeah.
So you can't use your hands, you only use your feet,
Wow.
your chest, your head.
Holy cow.
It is one of the coolest things to watch, and people get so competitive with it. It's incredible. They're like superhuman.
That's insane. Do they ever do like bicycle kicks and stuff?
I mean, I haven't actually seen someone do a bicycle kick, but I'm sure people do.
Yeah. And it's pretty cool I live near a beach in Florida, and there's actually a huge Brazilian community over there, and
Yeah.
they play this game.
Mhm.
And my favorite part is how they start it. So do you know how they start it?
Yeah, they make a little mound and they kick it over to the other side.
Yeah, it's huge, and then the other team just somehow receives it, and
Uh-huh.
it's really elegant, and I think it really highlights
so
the
cool to
beauty of
watch.
football, especially Brazilian
Yeah.
football. What is it? All right, let's talk about any big traditions,
There's so many traditions.
any festivals, or any Carnival.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's Carnival. Everyone knows, like, Brazilian Carnival. It's the largest in the world.
So what is it, though?
I unfortunately have never been, but it's my dream to go. Basically, it's just, like, a huge party for the entirety of it. Like,
wow.
People don't work. People are just out. People of all ages just having fun. Let me think of some other, like... So, in the month of June, there's this thing called Festa Junina, which comes from the north of Brazil. And basically, people dress up in, like, I guess, like, this country-style clothing, and they have, like, country-style music, and they dance, and they eat, and then there's a lot of, like, corn-based foods that they serve.
Oh, yes, we love corn-based food.
Yeah.
So what are some features that make someone Brazilian? Like, how would you identify someone as Brazilian, as a Brazilian yourself?
Say Brazil one more time.
Brazil.
I don't know that they're... I mean, people in Brazil are pretty diverse. Like, people, like, could look a lot of different ways. There have been a lot of different immigrant populations that come to Brazil after the World Wars. Like, there's a huge immigration of German and Japanese people and Italian and Americans too who went to Brazil. Also, there's a lot of people from African descent, so the country just... You can see a whole mix of different people and what they look like. I would say the majority of people are, like, have dark hair and dark eyes. Yeah.
That's cool. All right, be on the lookout for these Brazilians. They're everywhere. All right, now let's go into Brazilian stereotypes.
Stereotypes.
Yeah, sort of positive or negative connotations which may or may not be accurate, but just popularized in media.
Well, as someone who's not Brazilian, do you know of any Brazilian stereotypes?
That's a good question. And on the subject of Brazilian stereotypes, the biggest thing that comes to mind has to be the butts.
Interesting. I mean, I would say that there are people that have big butts, but it's not like everyone does. I think that's a huge stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, it was one time I was in the gym and there's just these crazy TV shows playing overhead, and one of them was like, oh, look at all these international TV shows, and this time we're going to show this one that's from Brazil, and they are competing to have the biggest butt, or the best butt, sorry.
One thing that kind of bothers me about that stereotype is that I think a lot of Brazilian culture gets sexualized in a way that it shouldn't be. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like making, like, the exotic, like, sexual, and that's not really a good thing, I don't think.
Yeah, it takes away from all these other cultural aspects.
It takes away from, like, the richness and uniqueness of a culture, and just kind of contorting it in a way that it's not really the way it is.
Mm-hmm. All right, so what is your favorite part of having a connection to Brazil?
I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's cool that I got to be born in the U.S. and was raised in the U.S., but it was cool to grow up with two cultures rather than just being like American. I'm from America. Like, I was raised by Brazilian parents in the U.S., so I kind of grew up in both of these cultures, and I don't know. It's just interesting as someone who I personally really enjoy learning about cultures. I guess it's just cool that I got to be raised in two rather than just one.
So, do you identify more or less with one or the other?
I would say I'm Brazilian-American.
Oh, there you go.
Like, obviously, I can't say I'm Brazilian because I've never lived in Brazil. I wasn't born in Brazil, but I also think the way I was raised isn't the typical way that most, like, Americans were raised. So I would say I'm Brazilian-American.
So you would say that it forms a key part of your identity.
Oh, for sure. I think anyone's upbringing, like, shapes part of their identity. So, yeah, definitely.
Well, that's really good. It's been nice having you on our show today, and we learned a lot about Brazilian culture. Too bad we didn't get to dig into Kennesaw culture.
Oh, God. Thank God you didn't.
But, yeah, thanks for coming. Thank you guys for tuning in to Rice and Beans. This is the first episode. We can only improve from here.
Next one will be better.
Yes, it will. But thanks anyway for your patience and your support. Peace out.